Hey guys, so I got everything that I need to do this job here. Got my maple blank here. This is a pre-slotted and pre-shaped to a 12-inch radius neck from Stu Mac. And here is the rod that I'm going to put in, a spoke wheel rod that I'm going to hide in the neck. Here is my neck template. This is a 12-inch radius bar from Stu Mac that I'm going to use as a clamping caul for this time. Next time I'll use this to actually make a fretboard. I chose to buy a fretboard this time because it saves me a couple $100 in tooling and some time, and I'm confident that I can make this at a later time. And this is a dragon file from Stu Mac that I bought last year. I bought this mainly to make pizza peels. This is extremely rough and it'll allow me to really take a lot of meat off at one time. They're very expensive. That was about $100. So I tried this Kutzall, which is something that we use like in the woodworking industry. This is finer than that. So I'm going to try these out. These are about half the price. And this is a specially ground router bit that is sized perfectly to fit this truss rod. So in all my research, I've been looking to do this for about 2 years. And the dimension for the Strat Neck stacked with these two should be about an inch. So that's about 25 millimeter. The desired dimension is about 18 mil for the maple portion, and about 7 mil for the fretboard. It really doesn't matter. There's all kinds of schools of thought on it, but the stacked height always ends up to be about 25 millimeter. So this is a little bit shy. The biggest dimension I get here is almost 6. So I would have to change this dimension here. This is about 20 millimeter. So it's about a millimeter too thick. I could probably leave it to sanding, but I don't know. I might take a millimeter off of this in the planer and see if I could get it down just a little bit. So we'll see. Okay, so after about 2 years of research on this, I keep coming around to the same dimension. So I'm fairly confident in what I'm going to do dimension-wise here. The stacked height on a Strat Neck is usually about 1 inch in the end. So I'm going to work in millimeters because it's a little bit more accurate. So, and to get that 25 millimeter, this is usually around 18. This measures almost 21, so it's a little bit thick. And the desired thickness for this neck blank is usually about 7 mil. Now, because I didn't make this, I'm forced to deal with whatever I have here. So what I have here is almost 6. So my overall here is a little bit over. I'm at 26.7 millimeter. I should really be around 25. So I'm going to try to dimension this piece in my planer, take it down about 1.5 millimeters to see if I could get to the desired height. All right, so since my neck blank is really not that much bigger than this neck template, I really have no room to make a mistake here if I'm going to take this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of walnut and I'm going to run it through the joiner to get the bottom nice and flat. and then I'm going to run it through the planer to get the top nice and flat. I'm going to double side tape this here. I'm going to double side tape these two pieces here and run this whole thing through the planer. What that will do is, should there be any snipe on this part, it will end up on these two pieces here rather than on my part. Snipe would make the piece look like this. It would dig in as it comes in, and it would dig in as it goes out. So hoping to get those on those pieces rather than this. See what happens. I jointed the bottom of this, planed the top, got this nice and square, squared up an edge even, and double-sided taped my cawls to either end and the neck blank. So now I have this little sled. I'm gonna take this and run this whole thing through the frame. So as you can see from that last video, I had to do a little work to get these cawls down to almost the level of this neck blank. Obviously the planer wasn't feeding it through. I had to pull them through by hand to get this down. I'm about 1 millimeter away now, so I'm actually about to make my my cut. So see what happens. All right, so that worked out well, left me with a nice finish. I don't really have to worry about any sanding or anything here. So popping this guy out of the cawl, I'm left with about 19.8. I wanted 19.8, 19.7. I wanted my total stack height to be about 25.5. And right now I'm about 25.7. So I'll take that. That's very good. So we can start making a neck now. Hey guys, so before I left on vacation, this thing was perfectly flat. Of course, you know, now it's moved a little bit. I'm hoping that once I cut the neck out, I could just deal with it when I clamp the fretboard on. The combination of that and the combination of removing the corners all the way around the piece should probably help a little bit. It shouldn't be too bad. So I just want to point out to you guys that I jointed one edge when I did this piece, and I marked them with an X so I know where it is. So I usually keep that away from me, and I line up where I want the neck to be on here. And then what I do is I use a square like this to make my line all the way down. This way, this line is in line with this edge, nice and square. So when I'm ready to do the truss rod, I'm gonna come over here to the router table. Here's my jointed edge. It's gonna be upside down, and it's gonna come this way to make the groove. So, see what happens. Okay, so here's the truss rod I'm gonna use. I want it like just inside the neck here. About a 16th or so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this end here, which shows me where the truss rod stops. So now that I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tram this line over and wrap it around here. And what that's going to do is when I have this on the router table, it's gonna show me where I need to stop. Actually, what I'm gonna end up doing is wrapping it around one more time. So now I'll start here on the router table and I'll come to this line. It'll be upside down, so I'll have a visual here. So another thing I need to do here is mark my depth. I'm going to want that like just underneath the fretboard. So there's my mark. I will square that all up. This way I'll have a reference for depth here. And I'll have my reference to where I'm going to stop here. All right, guys, so I'm back at it here. I've accurately set my fence to the center line of the neck. As you can see right here, I did a little test nip and I'm going right down the center there. One of the things I did was I put a square here and I squared up the cutter edge and I put a line here. So what that's going to do is when I come over with my neck, this is where I want to stop routing for the truss rod. So I've crammed this line to the bottom here and even onto this edge. So as I come across, because I'm upside down, I can't see where to stop. This line is going to tell me to stop right there. I ended up right on my mark. All right, so I've gone to my mark here, and this truss rod measures about 444 deep, and my slot here is about 452. So I'm pretty good, but it's just underneath. I'm gonna go a hair more and get it perfect.